Hello, my name is Jonathan, and I'm going to be explaining what I've learned in the past few years that I've been in high school. This is a bit of a hard one to talk about it, but I hope you guys can relate. Well, regardless, I'll get to the center of this topic. First, let's start off with middle school. I've made many changes to myself during then. During my time in middle school, I made no friends except for the ones that were from elementary. And even then, I barely had any classes with those people outside of lunch, and then a few classes in 8th grade. So I was basically on my own during then. However, as weird as it may seem, I was a lot more happier during that time. I had a lot of teachers that acted as my friends, and that was a lot of fun for me. But when I got to high school, I had to start over basically. There were also different types of people that were there to deal with. There were students there that I know I would never talk to or want to talk to. But then there were also people who did talk to me, either because they wanted to be my friend or because they wanted me to do something funny, and that's it. In my early years of high school, I was very naive. I thought if I did jokes in class, I would have a cool status, and more people would like me. But it never really worked out the way I thought it would. It took me about a good 5 years to understand that. However, it's not like I got in trouble from it, so whatever. I'm not the type of person who seeks for attention, but back then things were different, and I was unaware of the fact that I was lonely. I did these things because if people noticed me doing them, it would make me feel better about myself, hopefully. Well, I was also very stressed from jokes in class. You might be wondering, was it really that bad though? No, but looking back, I did a lot of cringy things for attention. I'm not going to even try to even think of those memories because of just how embarrassing they are. I prefer keeping these memories in the past and leaving it be. I wasn't really a fan of myself around that time, and I'm no longer that person any longer. It's not who I normally am. Well, I got it. Are you proud of me, younger self? Oh wait, I think I should be heading back to the making friends part. So while I was deciding who I was and who I wanted to be, I still had to make friends. I started making friends from one time I had someone who was also in the same situation as me come sit at my table. Which, by the way, I was the only one who sat there. So the kid that came over to the table, at first I had small conversations with him. But quickly, I started becoming good friends with him, and I consider us close to best friends now. But anyway, he introduced me to his club that no longer exists, so don't ask. But in that club, I made about 4 friends. I won't go into further specifics, but I feel I know what I want more than any part of my life. And then another club I went to was where I met another good friend. In 10th grade is where the problems escalated. Sure, people were noticing me doing jokes in class, but I still think that I could have been putting that energy towards something else like, I don't know, geometry, but I digress. Another class was with me and an acquaintance. Out of all the peers that wanted me to do things for attention, he was the one I got along with the most. And well, made the year more bearable. I was more aware that I was getting too old to be doing the jokes in class, and lesson on what they were and how often I did them. And that's basically all I have to say about that year. Nothing much to note or nothing major happened. And finally, 12th grade. Wait, what, nothing? I mean, I actually went 1 year without doing anything dumb and not really. As much as I improved, there are still moments in me that goes back to my younger self. But it's nothing like the past alterations in my identity. So now that I'm finally done with talking about my negatives, let's briefly talk about the good stuff once more. Well, I made friends, something I struggled in my life to do. I became more independent and not reliant on others to make me who I am. And I became responsible for putting focus on matters that needed the most. In other words, I moved on. By not caring about what people think of me, or finding out for myself that it is possible to have people like me, I think it's made me a better person. If high school has taught me anything, it's to move on. My definition of moving on is progressing through life and not worrying about small things. The actual meaning is to stop focusing on someone or something in order to progress with other tasks in life. And that about sums up perfectly well what my views and goals are from this point forward. If I had to pick a quote or something I could use again and again, that exact phrase would be it. It's just because it's something I feel should be kept in the minds of basically anyone, or for any circumstance or situation at hand. Which is why I'm leaving it at that.